to watch. But yeah, what else have you been watching, Don?
Yeah, I also watched a random film, a small film. It's actually a Chinese film, based off a Japanese manga, or manga as some people would say, and it's called Animal World, and it's very loosely adapted to this manga, which is kind of based off gambling and kind of this tournament called Animal World, where you have to play. My premise of this movie is basically they have to play extreme rock paper scissors, or else they'll die to pay off their debts. Um,
Now I watched the trailer to this movie, and it does not sound like it's a gambling game at all. It very much sounds like it's some kind of weird like assassin film, or where a
hmm,
guy is dressed up as a clown and stuff. But apparently, it's got very little to do with the actual film itself.
yeah.
So tell me more about this gambling.
Yes. So basically, the main character Zen, is kind of like one of those guys who's down in his luck. He's having some problems. He doesn't have money. He's like girlfriend in a sense is paying for him, and he's trying his best to kind of survive in this world. When he was really young, his parents got killed, and when his parents got killed, this cartoon of this cool clown guy on the TV, was on TV, and I guess that's one of those things where it kind of stuck with his memory, ever since. So now every time he is in a bad position or a place where he doesn't really want to be, he imagines himself as this cool killer clown that does some cool sweet moves with his katana swords and jumps around and things like that. Like yeah, the easiest way to probably explain that is like if you ever watched the movie Wanted, and I think there's like a part where like the main character named McAvoy is like, oh yeah, I want to do this and do that, but like he doesn't get to do it. So it's kind of like this. It does play the whole thing of like it shows you the situation of what he would do if he was this crazy clown character in real life, and then it reverts back to like, oh, this is actually who I am, and I'm kind of a loser, and I guess so. It has a lot of that back and forth, but like the marketing and the posters are very, I guess, faking it because it just shows this cool clown character, and it feels like he's gonna transform into this clown, and like he has alter egos and things like that. It's like not really like that. It's really more about this guy trying to pay off his gambling debt, by a company that is actually owned by Michael Douglas in this movie. I don't know why he's in it, but he is in this movie, which is very jarring because he's like the only guy I know, and it's just old random Chinese actors basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, there has been cases like I think was it like I forgot, there was like this movie called like The Wall or something like that. It was like about the Great Wall of China, and that had like a random actor in it. Like who's the guy who
I know there's
plays?
John Cusack in one of them. I think it's called Silk Road or something. It's got Jackie Chan in that one. I know that one, but yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of like kind of and I think technically is it's a good thing, right? Like where they kind of have you know
Cross
act
promotion, because once again,
yeah.
even I know that China's doing it, to some extent to Hollywood movies. I don't remember which ones, but I know that like for stuff like I think the new Pacific Rim film to like a few others, there are some Chinese actors who are pretty big, are in like random Hollywood movies. Like I think in like Transformers there was one,
Mhm.
where like they have specific things. And I think even like Iron Man 3, I think was one of the earlier examples where they had like specific segments in China, and they had certain, I don't know, scenes in that only were exclusive to them, to kind of
Yeah.
like go to them, which is very strange, I suppose.
Well, well, it's basically done because I think like this basically gives it a higher chance of having that film being premiered in China, because China only allows like a certain curated set of films to go into the country. Right? And the film I was actually talking about is called The Great Wall, and that film has Matt Damon in it,
Oh yeah, yeah,
Brandon,
yeah.
right? So yeah, so I think it's like an example of like China doing the same thing, except they're using like like American actors. They'll have their Chinese film, but then they'll throw in like an American actor in it and like a big name. It's like, hey, come do this movie for us. Sure. And also this movie also has Willem Dafoe. in it as well. So that's a thing to keep in mind. Man, it makes me want to watch The Wall. I wonder if it's any good.
I
Um,
remember watching it. I don't think it's that. I think it's pretty. It's just a fun action time. I forgot the director of it, but he's well known. I think he's very.
Zhang Yimou.
I think he directed something, and it was like he's really good with his colors. Like even especially with the Great Wall, you watch it, and it's like the colors are really great in the film. Like there's like some cool monsters with blood splatter, and it's got these really colorful moments. I think he's the guy who directed Hero. Do you know about the movie? I think Hero. It's the
I haven't watched it. To be fair, I haven't watched.
yeah. He directed Hero. Hero is a well known like Hong Kong action film because it just it looks beautiful. Like if you type in Google Hero the film and then like look at the colors, like he's really well known for that, and like that's why I feel like the Great Wall kind of does the same thing. But anyways, Animal World is basically they're on a ship and they're gonna gamble. And the way they gamble is doing rock paper scissors. But you got cards. You got about 50, and you got about 15 cards, and you got these 3 stars. And by the end of the day, you gotta get rid of all your cards, but keep at least 3 stars to kind of win yourself out of the debt situation. But the cool thing about it is, and I love premises like these where it's like you have these rules, but it didn't say there was no cheating involved. So there's a lot of assets going on where people cheat or they betray each other, or like apparently you can go like to their bank and get a loan, but that means you'll be more in debt if you fail with it. So it's kind of like this like big thing of like, oh, you can fail, you can do really bad, and it kind of has a and I guess in the end of the movie it has a message between like greed and like, sometimes your friends or the people who you trusted will betray you purely because of money. And it kind of has that kind of message to it. So it's really entertaining, and it's a really cool premise. I was very thoroughly engaged. Like I don't like I know it reminds me of some sort of certain movies, but like it has these cool like rules and everything, and it makes everything like these people playing rock paper scissors with cards is very entertaining. I don't know what they did, but it just feels good. Where they're just like it throws these cool different situations of what could happen. And and it keeps you entertained really through the end of it. The funny thing about this is like, and I feel like people should at least kind of give it a semi watch if you're interested in like people playing games or random things like that. But the funny thing about this is the movie ends on a cliffhanger. It says and the end of the credits is like to be continued. So I don't know, like, and it's very strange, and I can see where the story is going. But I'm very curious if like the clown character, his alter ego, is going to be some sort of like main thing that happens in the second movie, I suppose. But yeah, we'll leave it at that. So Animal World, I think you should go at least watch it because I think it's quite entertaining. And yeah, it's not too bad because I really don't know much about Asian cinema aside from like Hong Kong and action films. But yeah, I feel like Animal World